Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a psychic reading on Solange Knowles. That is right, I'm doing a psychic reading on Solange. I hope I said her name right. She is Beyonce's sister. She is a singer, songwriter, creative, very creative. I'm a big fan of hers, but I will try to be as unbiased as possible in this reading. So I'm going to give you what I feel, what I hear, from what I see from Spirit, for Solange as we go into 2020 and moving forward. Now, she's a very fiery personality. I'm going to look at her picture here. She's a very fiery personality. I do feel like she is very connected to, Mother Earth. She is a gypsy in many ways. I feel like, she comes alive when she is able to produce and create things and dress up, in different ways. Her hairstyles, a lot of homage to different genres, to her African American culture, the ancestors. She's just overall just multi-talented and very proud of who she is. And I think a lot of people may confuse that for cockiness or for her being pretentious, but at the end of the day, she's very proud of who she is and all the struggles and things that she's gone through in her life. It's not easy having, a sister like Beyonce that is always in the spotlight and is rose to fame and is a powerhouse, and you always are going to be compared to her, or people will criticize you because maybe you didn't have the same amount of success, that Beyonce has had, but they're two different people, and I think we owe it to Solange to differentiate that, that fact that she is her own person, and it doesn't matter, she's still successful in her own right. So when it comes to that, I think a lot of people want to know about her separation from her partner, Alan Ferguson. They married in 2014 and they separated in 2019. So just, recently we heard about that. They separated. She does have one child. So I think a lot of people want to know, what's the future? Like, what does it show here? I see a lot of battles when it comes to the partner. I do feel like there was a disassociation. Maybe this was something, just going to be different from what is being said in the tabloids. Maybe what she even says or releases. Like, I feel like not a lot of people know, but I feel like there was a lot of maybe like control, that he wanted to kind of control her in some way. But also I feel like maybe they were just not compatible in so many ways. I feel like they can be friends. Will they come back together? It's very possible. But I feel like there's this new door and opening for Solange to kind of just to go and do her own thing and kind of rebuild her life with a new person. So whether or not they are going to officially like divorce, or, in that period, Pooh, that's still left to be seen. From a spiritual standpoint, from what I hear from my spirit guides, is yes, eventually, that's going to be an ending there, and it's going to go, and it doesn't make her less of a woman or like makes her guilty of anything, because I think a lot of people are going to say, well, your sister Beyonce has hung with Jay-Z for more years than you have with this is your second husband, second marriage. But the thing is that, like I said, Beyonce may be with Jay-Z, but doesn't mean that she is happy, okay? And I'm not throwing any shade at all. I'm just keeping it real and saying what it is, And for Solange, I think she's very authentic in the fact that she's not going to stay with any man that's not making her happy in some kind of way, So I see, her communicating with someone else. I feel like there could be a new boo for Solange as we get into 2020, whether this is like a friend and someone that wants to make his move. I feel like it's kind of early for her, though. I feel like part of her wants to make things better, or see if maybe the time apart, could bring them closer together again. But I feel like for the most part, there is just like, I feel like there's two different things that I'm being shown by Spirit. One would be if she goes back to Alan, she stays in that situation, there's going to be money loss, career opportunity, because when she's with him, I feel like he kind of like creates like a stagnation and maybe kind of pessimist in some ways, that brings her creativity down, that kind of hinders her from being as successful as she could be when it comes to her career. So I see some of that, I don't know also if he's kind of like intimidated by the fact that she is famous, and she has her own money and doesn't really need, his money or his support. She's a very independent lady. But I do see some arguments with her and other people. I see some discord. I see some confrontations in 2020 as we get into 2020. So like her life for the next year or so is not going to be like peaceful. There are some unsteady moments, moments where she's going to have to speak her mind. And I feel like she needs to be careful though, because like we saw in 2014 when she kind of let Jay-Z have it in that elevator, you just got to be careful, because I feel like she is, like I said, very fiery, and when she sees red, that's it. You better get out of her way or somebody's going to be beat down, because Solange does not play. And I feel like as she gets older, that's changing. And she's kind of getting a little subdued. Not subdued, I guess that's not the word, but kind of like growing into herself and knowing that she is ultimately responsible for controlling the way that she responds to things. You don't always have to handle everything with violence. And she is a role model to many people, to many young girls out there. So I feel like, for the most part, she has to watch that. But I feel like she's still going to kind of be in arguments. I also see her kind of, feeling kind of like lonely in some ways. I feel like she's not happy, even though we see this vibrant Solange and we see her, in the outfits and receiving awards and doing all of these humanitarian efforts and doing things for other people. I feel like there's a piece of her that ultimately is scared, and this scaredness, that what Spirit is talking about, maybe her being kind of a little scared of what the future holds, scared of not, ever being like of ever kind of evolving and succeeding further, and maybe instead of like that being canceled at some point or losing that kind of spotlight that she has. But I see money, I see opportunities. Solange is not one dimensional. She's gonna do other things. I don't know if it's in the fashion world, again, a lot of these celebrities tend to venture off in their own businesses. There's something about, like a restaurant. I don't know if she's investing money on a restaurant or she has looked into that. But I see like real estate. I see things, her purchasing things and kind of like having her little dividends, her money, in different ways and like different nests, and them growing for her. She is her mother's daughter. She is her mother's daughter, and basically she's very powerful. I feel like, at the end of the day, she still looks to her mom for advice. Now, when it comes to her relationship with Beyonce, I do want to cover that in this reading and say that I don't feel like I do feel like they love each other and they know that blood is thicker than water, but at the end of the day, I don't feel like they necessarily are very super close. I feel like there is this tinge of, I hate to say jealousy, because I don't think that's appropriate if it's family, but there is this kind of, feelings, that maybe she sees things from a different set of eyes than Beyonce does, and she looks at Beyonce and she's like, this is my sister, I love her, I respect her, but at the end of the day, I don't agree with all of her decisions, and I don't agree with kind of like, some of her the things that she does, but she still is going to support her, even though she doesn't really support it. I know that kind of sounds like I don't know, is it a conundrum or something opposite, but I just see like there is this division, between both sisters. They look a lot alike, but not now, but like they did at one time. But I feel like, Solange is someone that is has an opinion about everything, and so like at the end of the day, she's not going to agree with her sister because it's her sister and her sister's more successful than her, or any of that. She is just as successful, and she's not going to like, take sides or show some kind of favoritism to her sister because of that. But I do feel like they have had their little clashes, their little And there is going to be a time in the future where they're going to have like a separation. I feel like her and her sister may actually have, you know, a moment where they are kind of like maybe distancing themselves from one another for whatever reason. And this is going to kind of play with her emotions, and it may make her feel a certain way. It may make her feel like, you know, maybe like she's hurting Beyonce by choosing to be this way. But like I said, once you cross Solange, I feel like once you burn bridges with her, she's done with you. She is done. And she's not turning back. And I'm not saying that Beyonce is going to be doing this, but I see this coming up like being something in the future, you know, that is going to be very prevalent. I do feel like Solange does need to take care of her health. I feel like overall she's very young still. You know, she's very vibrant, but I do feel like she may, you know, be inclined to maybe either drink a lot of caffeine or just kind of like to kind of be on energy drinks or something that kind of keeps her very, you know, with a lot of energy, but it ultimately is not good for her nervous system, and it's not good for her heart, okay? So, that's something to be watched, to watch. I do see her, like I said, eventually moving on from her, you know, from her husband and moving on with someone else. I do see another pregnancy or a child in her future. So Solange will have another kid, possibly 2 more. It just depends. We'll have to see. But I do feel like there is a potential there. Now, I don't know, like some people would be that may know her or that know, you know, I don't think she's tied her tubes, you know, but if she did, it could be that the guy, you know, has children. But I feel like what I keep seeing from Spirit is that she would be the one to have children. Like, I feel like it's not over, but time is ticking. So I feel like within the next 5 years or less, you know, before she hits 36 or 37, we will see another pregnancy for Miss Solange. And I do feel like it would be a girl, you know, and that's going to kind of be what she wants. You know, I think, you know, she has a set of a boy and a girl. It would be, you know, really good for her. We just have to kind of see exactly, you know, what's going to happen here. Now, I also am picking up, like, you know, her wanting to move. I don't know if she's eventually going to move out of New Orleans, or, like, I don't know if she has different, you know, different locations where she is at, but I see like her moving away, and there being like a difference of where she's located. So I don't know if like she's gonna uproot, but I keep being pushed to, I want to say, I know this sounds crazy, I keep seeing the East Coast, so I don't know if it's like New York City is like somewhere she could see herself living in that environment and that energy, but I see that. I also feel like her, you know, like when it comes to people around her, like there is going to be battles. Like I said, there will be legal battles, but above beyond all of that, there are going to be personal challenges with her and her management parting ways, her and her personal team, her firing people because of their attitude. And like, I feel like, you know, there is a sense of betrayal. Like, I see this sense of her becoming, in some people's eyes, a villain in many ways, and her becoming someone that they just cannot, you know, like, work with. And it's not because she is trying to be that way, but because, you know, a lot of people may kind of like feel like she is kind of like being, you know, difficult in many ways. But it's just about her expressing who she is as a person. I do see, like, you know, she will be like mourning some relationship or someone kind of like leaving her life. And again, this could be Alan, it could be her partner, you know, and this is going to be something that's very hard. But I see that, but ultimately I see like, you know, money is always going to be a part of her when it comes to that. But this is a reading on Solange Knowles. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button. Blessings and love and light. Until next time, bye.